This is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Corey provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Corey Sickles.
Welcome to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Corey Sickles, representing the team here at Safe Harbor Retirement Group and Wealth Advisors. If you'd like more information about the insights on today's show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can always give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're exploring our website, be sure to navigate to that radio page. There you can catch up on the previous shows and even subscribe to our program through podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, or Spotify. For engaging visual content on various financial subjects, feel free to drop by our YouTube page as well. Just search for Safe Harbor Retirement Group. You know, we're here to address any inquiries that you might have or to arrange either an in-person or virtual meeting. And remember, all of our meetings are complimentary and carry no obligation. Your financial well-being is our priority, so let us know how we can assist you the best. Well, we're going to talk about all the new changes that are taking place in 2024 of Social Security. We'll also just kind of make sure everyone knows, a few key facts about Medicare as well. But before we kind of dive into today's topic, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you today?
I am doing great, Corey. Great to be here with you, and I'm excited about this show. It sounds like you have a great topic lined up for us. I've had a great week, watching the football, and both my daughters had birthdays. They're 2 days apart, so we celebrated Allison and Anna's birthdays this past weekend. That was fun. We had all the kids. Adam and his wife came home. So I love family, you know that. So that was a lot of fun. We had a big meal. Sarah and the girls prepared a huge meal. Turkey, mashed potatoes, just the whole works. Kind of an early Thanksgiving meal, really. So I had fun. What did you do this weekend? This past weekend? Anything fun?
You know, I mainly worked in the yard. I got a lot of leaves, Tony.
You know what? We managed to do some raking this weekend as well. We're not done yet, though. But yeah, you got a lot of leaves out there?
Yeah, a lot of leaves. And, I got to my big one yet still, which is my big oak. That's usually not till end of November, first part of December when that thing finally goes. And the other part of it this year is it's acorn season. Oh. I've already done like 12 or 13 trash cans of acorns already.
Oh my goodness, that many, huh?
Yep. They just keep falling.
That's that's crazy. That is crazy. That sounds like too much. It sounds like work to me, Corey. Plus, I know this is your busy season at the office too, with meeting with people. So, yeah, you've been
Fourth
going
quarter's
strong.
busy.
Yeah. So, this topic you've got for us today, where do you want to begin with this?
Well, I think everyone, for a lot of the listeners out there that are on Social Security, I think last year, of course, we received an 8.7% increase on that Social Security payment. So for 2024, it's going to be 3.2%. That everyone's going to be able to have a little increase, from their Social Security. And, the one thing I would probably say is, the average estimated monthly payment that Social Security gives out on a monthly basis is a little over $1,848. Yep. And that means you're going to get an increase of about almost about $50. It's going to be $1,907. Just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea. The one thing I would also say is, it's going up, as I said, 3.2%. Your Medicare Part B costs are going to be going up from $164.90 a month to $174. So it's a little over a 5% increase for your Medicare Part B. But, I will say this. Obviously, last year was the highest increase we've had in over 40 years. And the nice part about it is over the last 20 years, we've averaged about 2.6%. So, for the people that are actually on Social Security, you're going to see a little bit of it's a little bit above average even on the cost of living increase.
Okay. So, yeah, I do like the fact that they do have the COLA with Social Security, and they give you a cost of living increase usually, but it varies. And we've had a couple of years, like you say, where we haven't had any. Last year was great. It's like 8.7, right? Percent.
It was 8.7%.
And this year it's only 3.2, correct?
That is correct, Tony. Yeah. So, I mean, it is an increase. Is it keeping up with inflation? I'm not really sure.
Right.
Last year, obviously, it was nice to be able to get that as well. Yeah. Just a couple other things that I think people want some other facts that people might want to be aware of. You are getting that increase. The one thing I will say, just as a reminder for a lot of people, if you are working, you're paying 6.2% of your actual paycheck that goes into Social Security. And then you actually also have an additional 1.45% that actually goes into your Medicare as well. So, right now we're paying about 7.65%. And you're actually going to pay that amount on Social Security this year up to $168,600. And of course, on Medicare, there really is no limit. You pay that 1.45 on whatever you do earn. So there's some key facts. I think that a lot of people, who knows whether you're aware of that or not, but you do pay. And of course, if you're self-employed, then you're going to end up picking up both of that. So you're going to end up paying basically about 15.3%, into your Medicare and your Social Security contributions for 2024.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are changes. You need to stay on top of this. Of course, the problem with inflation is it's usually higher than the government calculations. So inflation in 2024, I'm betting overall for things like food, clothing, energy will probably be, especially food and healthcare, will probably be above 3%. So you do have to plan for it, especially in retirement, correct?
That's correct. And, one of the things that we do, we have a Social Security maximization report, Tony, for anyone out there that hasn't filed, that wants to figure out when's the best time for you or you and your spouse to be able to file. We can run that Social Security maximization report. But part of that in there, Tony, is we're able to also project on what your Medicare Part B and your supplement and your prescription is going to cost, today, as well as kind of as you go through retirement. And we normally use about a 5% increase. So, Medicare is going to be increasing by about 5.5% this year. So I think it's kind of interesting to look at a report like that to see what you're paying today and see what that's really going to look like, 15, 20 years down the line when you have to also pay for social, for your Medicare Part A and, your Part B and your supplements and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important to understand. And I know that the increase in Medicare this year, that cuts into the cost of living adjustment because you will have to pay more for the Medicare premium too.
That is exactly right. You will have to pay more for Medicare premium. There is something that is going to be taking place when we start talking about Medicare. And, a lot of times, Tony, you always hear about what they call that donut hole on your prescription drug plan. And, here's the nice part about this year is I think your max out of pocket is only going to be about $8,000. So they're actually putting a limit on what you can actually pay for your prescription drugs. Once you actually hit that donut hole, which I believe is around $7,400, then you end up paying about 5% of whatever that prescription costs for anything above that. So if you had something really expensive, so you had a $30,000 prescription cost, you were still paying an additional $1,500, per month in order to pay for that type of cost. But now it looks like you're actually going to be limited on what that max out of pocket's going to be.
That's great.
So yes, so that will be an added benefit if you're out there and you're on Medicare, or you're Medicare, what they call Part D, and you're also paying for your those Social Security prescriptions out there as well.
Well, Medicare changes, you have to stay on top of these changes. And I know, Corey, you have Medicare specialists that work with you there in the office, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Obviously, this is annual enrollment period, so we're quite busy doing analysis for all of our clients. So, if you are a client of ours, every year we'll end up going through and doing a review for you to make sure you're on the right type of plan, make sure you're on the right type of prescription plan as well. When we start talking about, saving, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on your prescriptions, that can actually add up, not only this year, but, as you add that up over your retirement years as well. So for anyone out there, I highly would recommend, especially if you're on an Advantage plan, you can give us a call, and we can also help you just review your plan to make sure you're on the right type of Medicare Advantage plan, to make sure you're taking advantage out there of any potential lower cost on not only prescriptions, but even doctors as well.
Yeah, I think that makes good sense. And the reason we're talking about Medicare, it goes hand in hand with Social Security and the changes there. A lot of times those Medicare costs, especially Part A, Part B, can come right out of your Social Security check. So you need to be aware of what's happening with the Medicare changes in order to plan on what you're going to get from your Social Security check, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Tony. I mean, that's something to be able to definitely want to be able to look at. Those little costs add up. We always talk about being able to lower your budget, eliminate expenses. And one of the things that I would highly recommend during this time is, get your plan reviewed. You can save some money, lower your monthly income needs. It's always a good thing if you're able to do that. And, we are here to help if you want us to be able to do that as well. Just give us a call here at 614-760-0670.
All right, Corey. Well, thanks. And listeners, we're going to take a quick break here. Before we take that break, Corey, give that phone number one more time.
Yeah, our phone number here is 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. If you'd like for us to be able to, run a Social Security maximization report, just give us a call here, and we'll be able to run that for you. And the other thing that we can do with that is we can actually lay that on top of a financial plan to make sure that you're going to have the retirement that you want. If you don't have one, we'll put one together for you. And if you do have one, we could be that second set of eyes and provide a second opinion. Remember, all of our meetings are complimentary. There's no obligation. Just give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Corey. And listeners, pick up the phone, give them a call. I know Corey's offering that complimentary, no charge, no obligation Social Security maximization report. You just have to set up a consultation. And again, there's no charge. There's no obligation. Get a Social Security maximization report. It takes your personal information and tells you exactly what the sweet spot for you would be to file for Social Security. Gives you all sorts of information. If there are spousal strategies or filing benefits for you and your spouse, it takes all that into consideration. I think it does over 20,000 calculations. So that's a really great value. Take advantage of that. And we'll be right back with more of Financially Fit Radio and our host, Corey Sickles.
Throughout our working years, we attempt to accumulate as many eggs as possible into our retirement nest. Unfortunately, many people spend their energy focusing on how to accumulate a large retirement nest egg without giving any thought to where their retirement assets should be invested. At Safe Harbor Retirement Group, we have put together a simple way for you to group your retirement assets. To learn ways you can protect your nest egg, download a complimentary Color of Money report at safeharboroh.com or call us today at 614-760-0670.
Welcome back to Financially Fit Radio. If you'd like more information about today's show, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to address any inquiries you might have or to arrange either an in-person or virtual meeting. Remember, all of our meetings are complimentary and carry no obligation. Your financial well-being is our priority, so let us know how we can assist you best. You can give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit us online at safeharboroh.com. Well, Tony, we've been kind of talking about just the changes with Social Security, Medicare for 2024. And I think another one that we get a lot of questions on is if I take Social Security, let's just assume your full retirement age is 66. If I file for Social Security at 62 or 63, how much money can I earn without being penalized on my Social Security benefits? And that number for 2024 is going to be $22,320 a year that you can make. And if you do go over that threshold, then you're going to your $1 in your benefits is going to be withheld for every $2 of earnings above that limit.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's a very, something that people need to realize. Before you trigger those benefits, and if you are working, if you're working full time, you just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Now, if you are, within that full retirement age, that last year, if you're 65 or, that year you're turning 66, that number now is $59,520 that you can make per year. And, the way that works is if you go over that threshold for every dollar that you earn, they're going to withhold $1 for every $3 that you earned over that.
Wow.
And then of course, once you reach your full retirement age, you can earn as much as you want. So those are definitely things that we have discussions about when people want to trigger their benefits before their full retirement age to make sure they understand the rules, because we don't want anyone to be able to, lose some of those benefits that you receive on a monthly basis from Social Security.
Right. And what I hear you saying, then a lot of people think, well, I want to file right at 62 as soon as I can, but I'm going to keep working until I'm 66 or 67 or 70. Right. That's not a great idea then, because if you're working full time, most people that late in life, if they're working full time, they're going to be making more than $22,000 a year if they're full-time employees. So you can't start taking Social Security. It's probably not a good idea to do it before you retire. Now, if you're just working a part-time job or something and making less than the $22,000 a year, then it's fine. But you can't keep your full-time job and collect Social Security, because they're going to take all that money back. If they're going to take $1 for every $2 you earn, and you're earning $50,000 to $100,000 plus a year, I mean,
exactly right.
There it goes, right?
That's exactly right. So it's always good to meet with a financial person before you trigger your benefits, to make sure that you understand the rules.
Yeah.
And again, we're just here to help you to make sure you have the best retirement, and Social Security is a big part. It's really the foundation of your income plan. And the other thing I kind of wanted to talk about, for the remainder of the show, Tony, is, how can you potentially increase your Social Security payments just in general?
Okay.
And, one of the things that people always ask me is, well, how do they do the calculations? How do they calculate, what my Social Security benefits are going to end up being? And, what they actually do is they use your top 35 years that you've actually have earned money or paid into Social Security. That's the key. You paid into Social Security. So if you work over 35 years, and if of course you're making more money than you did, when you first started, which I hope most people are,
right?
Then you're going to end up replacing some of those other years with better years. So one way to be able to do that is to make sure that you have those 35 years in. It's very simple. You can always go online and look at your earnings, on the Social Security website, see how many years that you do have. But that is probably the easiest way in order to be able to increase those payments that you'll eventually receive from Social Security.
Well, and we all want to increase those payments, because once you lock them in, they're locked in. You do get the COLA, but there's no telling what that's going to be. Otherwise, you're locking in a base amount and you really want that to be as high as possible, obviously. So there are ways of doing that. I mean, the calculations get a little complex as to how they calculate how much you get a month, as you said, but there are ways to maximize your benefits before you file, or if you're listening and you just recently filed, there may still be time to change it, but typically once you file, it's locked in, isn't it?
It is locked in. That's one thing you can't change. So you want to make sure you do it at the right time. That's why it's important to work with an advisor to be able to make sure you're triggering at the right time. And, of course, the more that you do make and the more years that you put in, the higher the benefit amount that you're actually going to receive from Social Security too, Tony. A lot of people don't like to hear this, but an ideal situation is to probably at least try to work until your full retirement age, or if you can retire prior to that by working with an advisor and putting together a financial plan for you, you might be able to actually retire but delay your Social Security. That's one thing we always look at. Once you reach your full retirement age, Social Security increases by 8% per year. So that's another way to be able to increase that monthly payment is to work, or maybe delay delay filing for those benefits until you're the age of 70.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's going to work for some people, not everyone. Everybody's situation is different, right? And some people, they will need to take it early. Some people should probably wait if they have longevity in their family and they're healthy. You might want to wait. Everybody has a different break-even point, right?
It does, but generally the break-even point, it doesn't matter whether you file at 62 or whether you file at 70 or anywhere in between there, Tony. Most break-even points are somewhere between 79 to 80 years old.
Yeah.
So, if you have longevity in your family, the longer that you can delay, the better.
Yeah.
Because, if you wake up and you're 80 years old, then basically now you're losing money if you didn't file at the age of 70 for your Social Security. And the other thing you have to also remember, too, is when we start running that Social Security maximization report, for you and your spouse, of course, there's a good chance one of you is going to be able to make it to 80, just with today's, longevity with people, living a lot longer. So, the odds, you always have to consider you and your spouse and how much money that you're going to be able to earn as a couple from Social Security, and not just look at your own individual benefits as well. Because if something does happen to you, that spouse does receive the highest one, for the rest of their life. So that's an added benefit. It's something you really got to take into consideration when you really start thinking about when am I going to apply and start taking my Social Security benefits.
Yeah, I think that's huge. So how can our listeners out there get that report run? I know there at Safe Harbor, you can run that report for them and look at their financial situation, come up with an overall plan for their retirement and their finances, correct?
Yeah. For our listeners out there, just give us a call at 614-760-0670, or just visit us online at safeharboroh.com. The only thing we really need is your birthday. We don't need to know Social Security number or anything like that. We need your birthday and what you're going to receive at your full retirement age, and we can run a report for you and your family. It's a great report to be able to really become educated and make the right decision with your Social Security benefits. Again, just give us a call at 614-760-0670, or visit us online at safeharboroh.com.
All right. Thanks, Corey. And listeners, thanks for tuning in to Financially Fit Radio.
Join us next week for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Corey Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.